If you need any Xbox or PlayStation codes or anything gaming related, check the referral links down in the description. They'll take you to g2a.com. They already have a discount on most of their goods already, and with the code CHES at checkout, you can get yourself an extra 3% off as well.
Hey guys, how's it going? Ches back again, and welcome to episode number 77 of the Chelsea Career Mode here on FIFA 15. In the last one, I asked you which players you'd like me to prioritise from the shortlist that we were currently in the process of dealing with. The by far first name that was on the list was Paul Pogba. Obviously, he's moved from Juventus to Liverpool. He actually did that in the first season in this save, and that brought us to the third season where we're trying to poach him from Anfield. And the other name that seemed to pop up more often than not was Miralem Pjanic. Now, unfortunately, the offer for Pjanic, the offer for Pjanic was including Cesc Fabregas as well. So I had to make a decision as to whether to bring in Pogba or Pjanic. It wasn't a case of doing Pogba and, it was Pogba or, because unfortunately Roma weren't interested in Marco van Ginkel, the player we were also trying to move on to bring in a second new midfielder. Danny Parejo, however, has already had his contract signed, and his deal does include Marco van Ginkel, not Cesc Fabregas, but we'll see what happens with all of those deals later on in the episode. Obviously still in contract talks with Ivan Rakitic as well as Sergio Busquets, two Barcelona midfielders that may be leaving the Camp Nou to come to Stamford Bridge, which is where we travel first for this first game of the episode, starting a strong lineup. Obviously Van Ginkel and Fabregas both involved in the starting team here actually to try and take on Blackburn in the replay, obviously, from the first leg in the FA Cup. Not first leg, but the first game in the FA Cup. Obviously it's played with a replay rather than going into extra time, as is the case with the Capital One Cup. So we knew we were going to have to come back here. It was an unfortunate circumstance for this month that sadly we've got so many games already that we were kind of hard pressed to find enough players that were fit enough to start the game. But we had the first chance to Eden Hazard there in the opening 3 minutes and couldn't quite find the angle to squeeze it in that near post. Then they picked me off in the midfield here, and Rudiger Stead finds Mane, I'm not really too sure how to pronounce that, gets it out wide to Conway, stands the ball up. There's Jordan Rhodes, and a brilliant save by Kevin Trapp, actually diving through the post. Had that been real life, he probably would have bent double and kind of crushed his testicles on the post as he dived towards the goal to save that. But he, fortunately for him, went through the post and his plums were left intact. DeMarco so is going to whip the cross in here, and Costa can't quite win the first header. Drops to Cesc though. Good shot, well hit, but straight down the throat of the goalkeeper. So pushed further into the first half. Kurt Zuma gives the ball away here rather needlessly, tries to win it back, and puts the pressure on the defender, enough so for him to kick it straight into Cesc, over the top to Diego Costa. Great strength from him to shrug off the defender, but unfortunately not a great finish on the end of the run. Did really well to set the chance up and get himself in the position to have it, but unfortunately wide of the post. So into the second half we go. Diego again trying to twist and turn the defenders this way and that, not quite working in that instance. Oscar though threads it through to Willian. His shot though looks as if it comes straight off the bar, but you'll see from the replay an unbelievable save from their goalkeeper. Watch the trajectory of the ball, and it just there takes a fingertip touch onto the bar. That is world-class save from their goalkeeper. We take the corner though. It's Eden Hazard to stand it up, and unfortunately for the goalkeeper, that save was whilst necessary at the point, not really necessary considering what happened from the corner. Brilliant header from Kurt Zuma. Made a couple of mistakes earlier on in the game, as we saw, giving away possession, but rising above everybody else there to power home that header. Really impressive leap and finish from the centre-back to give us a 1-0 lead and put us in the driving seat. We had been in control for most of this tie, similar to how we had been at Ewood Park really, but unfortunately in the away leg we weren't... in the away game. I keep saying leg because we've got... let me stop talking about legs. Cesc Fabregas with an absolute peach of a finish in, again, what could be his last game in a Chelsea shirt. We've said that for the past 3 or 4 games as the deals continue to prolong themselves in actually coming to fruition. But you can see a really strong shot by Cesc. But look at the next replay more so. Look at Ashley Posha. Just jumps in front of the defender and blocks him off. Stops him from getting to it. And I think that's what put the goalkeeper off. He wasn't sure whether it was going to take a deflection off Posha or the defender. Couldn't really dive for it just in case that happened. Couldn't commit to any dive. And in the end, brilliant finish by Cesc. So a 2-0 victory against Blackburn. We are through to the next round of the FA Cup after a replay against the Northwest side. You guys warned me in the comments that Philip Lahm is one of these one-team players in FIFA, and some of you are saying you had to offer him upwards of £700,000 a week to actually get him to come to your club. So I'm trying to offer him 170, but judging by your experience, that really doesn't look like it's going to come off. Still trying to work out a deal for Kroos just in case something happens with Pogba, but as you can see, the deal is going ahead. £12.5 million plus Cesc Fabregas, and the deal to bring in the Frenchman to Stamford Bridge is a go and has now happened. So we have to say no, unfortunately, to Sergio Busquets. We also have to say no to Miralem Pjanic. Unfortunately, the Bosnian has to stay in Italy at the Stadio Olimpico, and Roma will keep hold of him, which means we can say yes to Daniel Parejo. Obviously had a very good season in real life this year for Valencia and got himself a Team of the Season card. Not as highly rated as Cesc Fabregas, but technically he's absolutely incredible. So I'm hoping that he can be just as creative as Cesc was. Obviously we didn't need to get rid of Cesc Fabregas, but it just was a nice change of pace in that other midfield slot to have someone new alongside Nemanja Matic, for of course this being our last season here at Chelsea. We're just having a bit of fun with the transfers we've made. We've made so many amazing transfers in this save now, in this third season. Lewandowski's come in, Robben's come in, we brought in Paul Pogba. Been absolutely fantastic that the teams or the players that we've been able to bring in, including Antoine Griezmann as well. But unfortunately, we don't get off to the best of starts in our opening game in the Barclays Premier League of today's episode. As you see, they take the lead after a really nice rebound, in fairness. Really fortunate with the way it came about to them, but still, we're trying to get themselves back on level terms literally just a few minutes afterwards. Still only 10 minutes on the clock. Lewandowski just gives it a whack with his left, and that is an emphatic finish, smashing it into the top left corner. We are immediately back on level terms, and it's 1-1 in the snow here at home again, and hoping to get ourselves in front if we can. Not really the sort of side you want to be dropping points against Crystal Palace, albeit the fact that they are having a very good season this year in this save, up in 5th, I believe, in the Barclays Premier League, pushing for a Champions League spot. But Nemanja Matic with an absolute cracker from distance. Unfortunately for me, though, the keeper was on hand to tip it up over the top of the bar. Very good save from him. So Paul Pogba, having his first set piece since coming into the club, gets himself an assist as well. Takes the corner, and Robert Lewandowski obliges in powering in the header to the back of the net. That's 2 goals we scored from a corner in today's episode. I'm not really that fruitful when it comes to scoring goals from set pieces like that. My corners aren't that good this year. Last year we scored a lot of corners, but this year not so many. Paul Pogba, though, shows great strength there to shrug off the defender, and isn't quite able to get his shot off properly, and then it drops to Robin. See, great strength there to hold him off, forces him to ground in fact, and then has the shot, but unfortunately it trickles to Robin, who was offside. But we're sticking with this highlight as we head towards half-time. They're going to try and build something, but Robin, disappointed not to have had his initial shot go in, or not have the chance to get his initial shot go in, but what a mistake from the goalkeeper. That makes it 3-1, and Lewandowski rounds out his hat-trick. A perfect hat-trick, no less. Right foot with the final one, a header in between, and a left foot to get things going. The goalkeeper, though, will be so disappointed with that. That is just ridiculous defending. Absolutely nightmare stuff, or absolute nightmare stuff for their goalkeeper. So in the second half, with 10 minutes to go, we brought on other new central midfielder Dani Parejo for Nemanja Matic. So the 2 new players were in centre mid. Parejo looking to get himself an assist with his first touch as well. Unfortunately, though, the corner didn't quite go as well as Paul Pogba's, and the ball went wide. So trying to get both players an assist on debut. We've got one for Paul Pogba, sadly not one for the Spaniard Parejo, but they were going to come forward. Obafemi Martins, of all players, playing up front for Crystal Palace, came off the bench, obviously extremely rapid, into Hiram Boateng, stands the ball up, flicked on well at the back post, and there's MacArthur to sweep it home into an empty net. 2 goals scored by Crystal Palace that were perhaps slightly fortuitous in the way they came about, but luckily for us, Robert Lewandowski had already scored 3, and that meant that we were we've already played the cup game, that we got 3 points in the Barclays Premier League to go towards our title push. And obviously in the next game, in the next episode, we'll be playing Hull in the second leg of the Capital One Cup semi-finals. But again, as you guys predicted in the comments, Philip Lahm turning down my contract, and I've just decided to completely pull out of that one. I don't think it's going to be worth paying the amount of money we would have to get him out of that deal. As you can see, the confirmation of the results from the first legs: Newcastle 1, Everton 1 in the other half of the draw, and obviously we're 2-1 up against Hull in our side of the draw, and pretty tight when it comes to goals scored, goals against and goal difference for ourselves and Arsenal, and only 4 points between us as well. They've lost 4 and we've lost 2, although they have drawn just 1 less and won 1 less as well, which is where the 4 points come from. Mathematics, who loves it? But Liverpool still in third though with a game in hand, so could come up to only 2 points behind us again should they win that. Not too sure who it's against. I'm looking down the list, and Everton and Norwich and Fulham all have a game in hand as well, so presumably and Spurs as well. So if it's against Spurs and QPR, so if it's against Spurs, then it might drop some points. That might help us out. We'll have to wait and see. But that's going to bring today's episode to a close, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Drop the video a like if you enjoyed, of course, as always, and subscribe if you haven't already. Extremely close to 70k now, and hopefully we can hit that over the next couple of days, and then I'll get the 70k special video up for you. But yeah, that's all for now. I will be streaming later on tonight over on Twitch, so follow the link in the description to my Twitch channel and go and follow over there to make sure you don't miss out on that stream. And there'll be a Career Mode Road to Glory episode later on tonight as well, of course, as always, every Monday. We do that, but that's all for now. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.